I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this. You hear about it, sure, friends of friends, stories passed around at truck stops, whispers about the one who got cheated on. But when it's your life, your home, your wife, it feels unreal, like you're stuck inside some twisted movie. I'm 44 years old, a long-haul truck driver. Been on the road for most of my adult life. My wife, Anna, and I have been together for 16 years, married for 13. We don't have kids. Doctors said it would be difficult, and after a while we just stopped trying. Instead, we built a life that was ours. Road calls in the middle of the night, dinners when I came home, weekends sometimes spent with neighbors over barbecues. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Life on the road is lonely, sure, but I trusted her. I had to trust her. When I was 2 states away hauling freight, she was my anchor, the reason I pushed through 16-hour days. She always said, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine at home. Just come back safe." And I believed her. If you'd asked me then, I would have said we were solid. I would have sworn on my life that Anna loved me, that she was waiting for me every time I rolled back into our driveway. But looking back now, maybe I was blind. It started on an ordinary Tuesday night. I was parked at a rest stop, sipping burnt coffee from a plastic cup, when my phone buzzed. It was a message from Victor, another long-haul driver I've known for years. He lives a few blocks from me, and we sometimes grab beers when our schedules line up. At first, I thought he was just sending me a funny meme or one of those dumb photos truckers trade to kill time. But when I opened it, my stomach turned to ice. The photo was of my house. My car sat in the driveway where I'd left it, and the front door was wide open. Walking into my apartment, our apartment, was my upstairs neighbor, Sergey. He was holding a bouquet of roses. Bright red, freshly bought. I stared at that photo for a long time, like maybe I could explain it away. Maybe he was just being nice. Maybe Anna had mentioned she was sick, and he was bringing flowers to cheer her up. Maybe. But my gut told me something else. Victor's message came a moment later. "Bro, I don't want to cause problems, but I thought you should see this." My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. I wanted to call Anna right then, demand an explanation, but something inside me told me to wait, to not say a word. 2 days later, my load was delivered earlier than planned. I didn't tell Anna I was coming home. For the first time in our marriage, I wanted to catch her off guard. And God, how I wish I hadn't. I got home around 9 in the evening, 2 days earlier than Anna expected. I parked quietly down the street instead of in front of the house. My heart was hammering so hard it felt like it might tear through my chest. When I walked up to the door, I noticed right away, it wasn't dark inside like it usually was when I got home early. The lights were dim, soft. Music was playing. Not just music, but the kind of slow, romantic stuff Anna used to put on for our anniversaries. I stepped inside without making a sound. The smell hit me next, candles. Vanilla and something floral, like jasmine. My stomach churned. I walked toward the bedroom, every step heavier than the last. And then I saw it. Candles lined the dresser. The sheets turned down. And Anna, my Anna, was standing there in lingerie. Not just any lingerie. The set I had bought her last month, tucked away for our anniversary. I hadn't even told her when I was planning to give it to her. She had gone through my things, found it, and put it on for him. And him? Sergey, the upstairs neighbor, was in my home. Shirt half unbuttoned, grinning like he belonged there. "Anna." My voice cracked. It didn't even sound like me. She spun around, her face draining of color. You're home." I can't even describe the silence that followed. It was like everything in the world stopped breathing, waiting for me to explode. Finally, I managed. "What the hell is this?" Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked like a child caught stealing candy. Sergey, the bastard, had the nerve to mumble something like, "Maybe I should go." And that's when my world shattered. I don't remember every detail of what happened in that moment, but I remember the feeling. It was like being gutted from the inside out. My chest was tight, my hands shaking, my throat closing up. I wanted to scream, to hit something, to collapse on the floor, all at once. Anna tried to speak, her voice trembling. "It's not what you think. Not what I think." My wife, in the lingerie I bought her, candles lit, music playing, our neighbor standing there half undressed. What the hell else was I supposed to think? I laughed. It was ugly, hollow. "Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I can't see what's right in front of me?" She flinched at my words, but didn't move closer. Maybe she knew if she touched me, I'd break completely. Sergey muttered again that he should leave, and I exploded. "Get the hell out of my house. Now, he didn't argue. He grabbed his shirt and left, the door slamming behind him. I stood there, chest heaving, staring at the woman I thought I knew better than anyone in the world. The silence between us was deafening. She was crying now, but I couldn't bring myself to comfort her. My heart was splitting open, but part of me was already turning to stone. I'd spent years believing in her, trusting her, building my life around her. And in one night, with one scene burned into my eyes, everything I thought was real fell apart. Anna sat on the edge of the bed, her face buried in her hands. I stood in the doorway, too afraid that if I moved any closer, I might collapse. Finally, she spoke, her voice raw. I didn't mean for it to happen. I was lonely. You're gone so much, and Sergey was just there. Lonely. That word cut deeper than a knife. I'd driven thousands of miles, spent nights in freezing cabs, missed holidays and birthdays, all to make sure she had a roof over her head, food on the table, everything she could want. And she was lonely? I said nothing, just stared. She tried again, reaching for me like a drowning person clawing at the air. I love you. I swear I do. This wasn't supposed to go this far. It was just attention. Someone to talk to when you were gone. And then one thing led to another. I wanted to believe her. God help me. I wanted to cling to those words and pretend this was just some stupid mistake. But the candles, the music, the lingerie, it wasn't an accident. It was planned. Planned, I finally said, my voice breaking. You planned to do this. You put on what I bought you, lit candles, set the scene. Don't you dare call that an accident. Her tears came harder. Please don't leave me. I'll stop. I'll never see him again. You mean everything to me. I just messed up. But all I could hear was the echo of that word, lonely. I thought the first wave of pain was bad, but what came next was worse. It wasn't just sadness, it was fury. A shaking, burning anger that made my whole body feel like it was on fire. I wanted to tear the candles off the dresser, rip that lingerie off her, smash the stereo that was playing that damn song. I wanted to erase every trace of what I'd just walked into. You were lonely? I spat the words out like poison. Do you have any idea what lonely feels like? Try sleeping in a cab in the middle of nowhere, with no one to talk to, no one to hold. Try missing your wife every damn night and trusting she's waiting for you. That's lonely. She just cried harder, and I hated that I still cared. I hated that a part of me wanted to take her in my arms, even while my chest felt like it was splitting open. My head was spinning with memories. The way she used to hug me so tight when I came home, the way she'd say, "You're my whole world." Were those lies? Or did she mean them until Sergey showed up with his easy smile and his goddamn flowers? I slammed my fist against the doorframe. You didn't just hurt me. You destroyed me. Do you understand that? You killed everything we built. She whispered, I'm sorry. But sorry didn't bring back the man I was 2 days ago. Sorry didn't erase the image burned into my mind of her standing in my gift, waiting for him. And for the first time since I walked into that room, I realized maybe there was no going back. That night felt endless. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. I sat in the living room with the lights off, staring at the blank TV screen while Anna cried herself to sleep in the bedroom. The same bedroom where I had found her with him just hours before. My thoughts spun in circles. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it again. Her body in that lingerie, his grin, the candles flickering. Over and over, like some cruel film reel stuck on repeat. I asked myself 1,000 questions. Was it the first time? Had she done this before? Was it just Sergey, or were there others? Every possible answer felt like a knife in my gut. At one point, around 3 a.m., I walked into the bedroom. She was curled up, clutching my pillow, as if it could protect her from what she had done. For a second, I just stood there, looking at her. The woman I had built my life with. The woman I would have sworn would never betray me. And I felt something worse than anger, emptiness. I didn't touch her. I didn't wake her. I just turned and went back to the couch. The silence of that night was heavier than any highway I've ever driven. And deep down, I already knew nothing would ever be the same again. Morning came like a cruel joke. The sun poured through the blinds, warm and golden, like it was any other day. But inside me, everything was cold. I brewed coffee out of habit, though I could barely taste it. The sound of her footsteps on the hallway floor made my stomach twist. She walked in slowly, like she was approaching a stranger's house instead of her own kitchen. Her eyes were swollen, face pale. Neither of us spoke at first. The silence between us was louder than any argument could have been. Finally, she whispered, "Can we talk?" I didn't look at her. Talk about what? About how you destroyed everything. About how I can never unsee what I saw. Her hands shook as she held her mug. I know I hurt you. I don't expect forgiveness overnight, but I don't want to lose you. I made a mistake. I'll do whatever it takes to fix it. I laughed bitterly. Fix it? You can't fix this. You can't take it back. Do you think I'll just forget? That I'll climb back into that bed and pretend it didn't happen? Her eyes filled again, but she didn't look away. I'll cut him off. I'll go to therapy. We can go to therapy. I'll prove to you that you still mean everything to me. And there it was, the plea, the bargaining. But I couldn't bring myself to give her an answer. Because the truth was, I didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to try, or if I wanted to pack my bags and never see her again. That morning, sitting across from her at our own kitchen table, I realized I wasn't just angry, I was lost. For days, I lived in limbo. When I was at home, the air felt suffocating. Every corner of the apartment whispered reminders, her perfume on the couch, the wine glasses in the cabinet, even the damn bed sheets. And yet, when I thought about leaving, packing a bag and walking away, I froze. I kept asking myself, am I holding on because I love her, or because I'm afraid of starting over? Anna hovered like a ghost around me. She cooked, cleaned, tried to talk, but it all felt forced. Sometimes I caught her watching me, her face full of guilt and desperation. Other times, she gave me space, tiptoeing around as if I were a bomb about to go off. One night, I almost left. I had my keys in my hand, jacket on, shoes laced. But when I opened the door, she broke down, clutching at me, sobbing that she couldn't live without me. And God help me, I couldn't step past her. I stood there, torn apart by anger and love, betrayal and habit. It was like standing on a cliff edge, staring down. One step would mean freedom, but also emptiness. Staying meant swallowing the poison every day, but keeping the life I'd built. I had never felt weaker in my life. A man who could haul tons of steel across the country couldn't even decide whether to stay in his own marriage. I couldn't take it anymore. The not knowing, the questions clawing at me in the middle of the night. One afternoon, I marched upstairs and knocked on Sergei's door. He opened it after a moment, his smug face instantly falling when he saw me. "Look," he started, raising his hands like I was about to swing at him. I didn't mean for things to. I cut him off. "Shut up. I don't need excuses. I need the truth." He swallowed hard, shifting uncomfortably. It wasn't like a full-blown thing, okay? It just started with talking. She was lonely, and I didn't think it would go anywhere. Then one night it did. A few times. My heart sank. It wasn't just what I saw, it had happened before. "You came into my home," I growled, my fists trembling. "You touched my wife in my bed with the gift I bought her. And you're standing here like it's some mistake you tripped and fell into." He didn't answer. His silence was worse than any words. For a moment, I wanted to break his jaw. Every part of me screamed to lash out, to make him feel just a fraction of what I felt. But I didn't. Instead, I turned and walked away, my rage boiling into something colder, something heavier. It wasn't just Anna who betrayed me. It was the neighbor I'd shared beers with, the guy I'd trusted enough to watch my place sometimes. The betrayal doubled, pressing down like lead on my chest. And as I went back downstairs, one thought kept echoing. How many lies have I been living under without even knowing it? It happened one night when I was alone on the couch, the house quiet except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. I felt it, the weight of everything crashing down. The betrayal. The lies. The nights I spent driving hundreds of miles thinking she was waiting for me. The gifts she wore for him instead of me. The neighbor I trusted. It all hit me at once, like a tidal wave I couldn't fight. I curled up on the couch and cried like I hadn't cried in decades. Not tears of sadness, not just anger, but a mixture of every emotion I had bottled up. Rage, heartbreak, disappointment, self-loathing. I hated her. I hated him. I hated myself for ever thinking life would stay simple. I screamed into the empty room, letting the sound tear through me, a release I hadn't known I needed. But when the screaming stopped, the emptiness remained. I realized then that this wasn't something I could just recover from overnight. It wasn't a wound I could bandage and forget. This was permanent, a fracture in the foundation of my life, and no amount of apologies or promises could glue it back together. I stayed there for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I could ever trust anyone again, wondering if I could ever trust her again. And deep down, I knew a decision had to be made. Whether I wanted it or not, something had to change. The days that followed were agonizing. Every time I looked at Anna, I saw him, Sergei, etched into every glance, every smile, every attempt at affection. I couldn't escape it. I thought about leaving. I thought about packing my life into my truck and driving until I couldn't see our house anymore. I thought about the freedom, the relief, the possibility of rebuilding without this shadow over me. But I also thought about the years we'd shared, the memories, the moments when she had been my anchor. Was it enough to forgive? Could I survive in the same house, carrying this weight every day, pretending nothing had happened? I confronted her one evening, sitting across from her at the table, both of us exhausted from sleepless nights and endless conversations. "I don't know if I can do this," I said, voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again. But I also don't know if I can walk away." She reached for my hand, tears streaming, and said, "I'll do whatever it takes. I'll prove it. I'll fight for us." And in that moment, I realized the path I was about to choose wasn't easy. It would be long, painful, and uncertain. But for better or worse, I decided we would try. We would fight for the marriage, even if it broke us along the way. It was a fragile truce, a tentative first step, but it was a choice. And sometimes, a choice is all you can do when your world has been shattered. The months that followed were slow, agonizing, and humbling. Therapy became our lifeline, both couples therapy and individual sessions. Sitting in a room with a stranger, exposing every crack in. Our relationship, every unspoken resentment, every fear, was like tearing open old wounds and trying to stitch them back together with raw, trembling hands. We learned to communicate differently. I learned to voice my anger without letting it consume me. She learned to be honest, even when it hurt. Every step forward felt small but necessary. Every step backward felt like the betrayal all over again. There were days when I wanted to give up. Days when her laughter reminded me of Sergei. Nights when I felt like I was carrying the entire weight of our fractured life alone. But there were also moments when I remembered why I had loved her in the first place. The way her hand fit in mine, the quiet nights we spent talking about dreams, the shared jokes and memories that no betrayal could erase. Rebuilding wasn't about forgetting what happened. It was about learning to live with it, to acknowledge the pain, and still choose to move forward together. Or at least try. Every small victory felt monumental. A hug that didn't make me flinch, a conversation that ended without tears, a night where I could sleep in the same bed without my mind replaying that terrible scene. It wasn't easy. It would never be easy. But we had started walking again, one fragile, trembling step at a time. Looking back now, I see things I couldn't see then. Betrayal is a wound that doesn't just hurt, it teaches. It forces you to examine yourself, your choices, your vulnerabilities. I learned that trust is fragile, but also resilient if nurtured carefully. I learned that anger is natural, but it cannot live unchecked, or it will consume you. Most of all, I learned that love isn't always about perfection. It's about showing up, even when the world has proven itself capable of breaking you. Anna and I are not the same couple we were before. We carry scars, visible and invisible. We argue more consciously, we communicate more openly, and we never take each other for granted. Every day is a reminder of what we nearly lost, and what we are still fighting to preserve. I wish I could say it was all worth it in the romantic sense, but life isn't a storybook. It's messy, painful, and sometimes cruel. What it did give me, though, was clarity, about myself, about her, and about what I can endure. If anything, I hope someone reading this understands. Betrayal doesn't have to define you. It can break you, or it can teach you to rebuild, stronger, wiser, and painfully aware of what truly matters. If I could speak to anyone going through what I went through, I'd say this. Pain like this is brutal, and there's no right or wrong way to process it. Shock, anger, sadness, confusion, they're all natural. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Take your time. Feel everything, even when it hurts. But also remember that betrayal isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of choices made by someone else. It's not your failure. Deciding what to do next, whether to fight for your relationship or walk away, is yours alone. No one can make that choice for you, and there's no shame in either path. What matters is that it's deliberate, thoughtful, and honest. For me, choosing to try again wasn't easy, and some days it still isn't. But it taught me resilience. It taught me that love is not blind. It sees, it suffers, it survives. And above all, it taught me that even in betrayal, we have the power to shape our own story. If you're reading this, heartbroken and raw, know this. The road ahead will be hard, but you will find yourself again. You will. And when you do, you'll understand that surviving betrayal doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you whole.